Say how you feel, man. You got to say how you feel.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. My name's Ben Steger, here to answer your shooting questions. Joining us today from Kansas City, Tim Herron.
Hey.
Grandmaster Tim.
Here. Grandmaster Tim.
Also,
Yes.
Grandmaster Matt.
Kansas City, also. Got a cat that's annoying right now.
Shut up. You like your cat, man.
She wants attention, though, dude.
Well, she misses you. All right, before we get into today's discussion topic, we've got a few housekeeping issues we've got to take care of. First and foremost, I've been very busy with classes lately. If you want to schedule one, as many of you do, you should get on that sooner rather than later. This fall, for me, is pretty well full. Most people don't live in a place where they can do it during the winter, and that pushes things into next spring. I have stuff scheduled as far out as May of 2016. The spring's not full for me, but I anticipate in a couple of months it probably will be. So if you're thinking about scheduling that class, just probably schedule it up sooner so you don't get bumped to next fall because, you know, obviously there's matches and shit going on during the summer. Yes, the next thing, the pro shop is getting restructured a little bit. Some of you have received, I would say, less than awesome service, like long waits on things like Boss holsters. That's my fault, primarily. There's been some fuckery from some of our suppliers and our inventory system on the website, so we're changing web hosts to fix the inventory system. Instead of just having Blade Tech holster pouches, we've added CompTac into the mix, so we can, you know, substitute in CompTac, so we have like another supplier. That stuff is getting fixed, and I think Timmy's going to add another employee to make life easier. In any event, it's a good problem to have, but because, you know, it's primarily due to the pro shop growing, but at the same time, it's got to get fixed, and it is getting fixed. So if you had an issue, I think things will be better in the future. And if you want to complain about it, email shopping@benstickerproshop.com and complain to Tim Myers because he will probably do something nice for you. Okay, and the big housekeeping issue, we got to talk about why I didn't talk about Swingergate. So if you don't know what Swingergate is, that's fine. If you do know what Swingergate is, there was quite a few people online. Guys, would you say that's true? There's a few people who like this is going to be a podcast topic, right?
I think more people thought we would talk about it than not, actually.
Yes.
So
that's probably true. So
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about why we didn't talk about Swingergate. Number one, I try to stay away from personality-driven gossip shit on the podcast. I think there was some interesting like rules issues about Swingergate, but it was primarily personality-driven, in my opinion. Like there was two people, as far as I know, who were on the shit end of the stick when it came to Swingergate, and there was one person that nobody gave a shit about, and the other person was Candace. And she's a big deal because of, you know, people know who she is. So I thought there were some interesting rules issues there, but it was personality-driven nonsense. So it wasn't something that I would probably want to podcast about anyway. The other thing is, before we get on the podcast, and guys, you can vouch for me on this, this is true, kind of the deal is on the podcast, if you don't want to talk about it, we won't talk about it. That's totally cool. So, Tim, for example, you probably don't want to talk about the strange growth you have on your penis, right? So we don't have to talk about that. That's totally cool. We don't have to. I mean, if you don't want to talk about anything for any reason, we're not going to talk about it. And since Candace is kind of part of the podcast, if she doesn't want to talk about it, we won't talk about it. That's fine. Totally fine with that. The other kind of the expectation that people are owed an explanation for, you know, matches or whatever. I don't. That's not an expectation that I want to feed. So I personally don't post match video or maintain a range diary because then people feel like you owe them a public explanation for things that you really don't. So that's why I personally don't do that, and you don't hear me talking about matches a whole lot on the podcast. Posting match video, like I don't really talk about matches that I shoot or my shooting at matches. It's not something I really want to talk about, so I don't talk about it. So if you're a frequent listener, you probably have a good sense of what topics are going to happen and what aren't. I like talking about controversial stuff, but I like talking about sort of issue-based stuff. I try to keep it there, like that sort of thing. Interesting enough, one guy made a comment that I thought was it was kind of interesting. I think I was talking with Matt Mink. I don't know if you guys heard this podcast, but Mink started to head into like name-dropping guys on the Super Squad who were like trying to get doubles. That's the territory he took it to, and I shut that off. I was like, no, dude, don't do that, because I don't know, like I addressed. Like, if I had a problem with what somebody did at a match, and Hopkins, you've been there, you've had a problem with people's match conduct, right?
Yeah.
Like specific guys?
Times. Yeah.
Yes. So that was addressed with that person at that time, and that's it. There's no reason to go put that online because then, I don't know, it seems kind of malicious. It comes off that way. Anyway, Swingergate, I told Candace about my feelings privately. As a result, you're going to be seeing some changes on the podcast, but that's it. It was handled privately, and I think that's totally okay. You guys have any comments?
Matt, anything?
I don't really have anything to add.
Oh wow, aren't you guys fucking awesome?
Yeah. We're great co-hosts or whatever.
So,
Guests
I
on
mean,
this.
I guess my question is obviously, I take it was presented to Candace as to whether or not she was interested in, I guess, I don't know, feeding herself to the wolves or anything, so to speak, or to put herself out there. Did she feel like she owed an explanation for anything, or no, or?
Well, you'd have to ask Candace about how she feels, but I mean, if she wanted to come on the podcast and talk about it, that would be okay. And if she didn't want to, I think that's okay, and I think it's understandable.
Absolutely.
Right? That's where it's at. Now, Tim Herron,
Yes.
you've brought us a topic today.
I did bring us a topic. Speaking of,
Why don't you tell us a little story? So you obviously feel like the line of what you'll put out there is different. So you want to talk about your match.
I do want to talk about my match.
And that's, by the way, that's totally fine, man. Your lifestyle choices are your own, and I'm cool with that.
No, and you and I have had this conversation privately a little bit in regards to talking about matches or not talking about matches and putting things out there or not. But yeah,
Hey,
so
no, it's totally fine for you right now.
absolutely single stack nationals.
When you get to the point where literally nothing you say is like you can't put out something like a statement or a video or anything that doesn't get the shit criticized out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably will recalibrate what you put out and what you don't. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. So, single stack nationals was about a bust for me this year. I shot entirely too deliberate. I was, I guess for lack of a better term, scared shitless, and I have no idea why and where these nerves came from. But I mean, literally to the point, my knees were knocking almost throughout the entire day. It was probably the most brutal and most like emotionally debilitating match I've ever shot, and I have no idea why. So my question is, I guess, I shot literally almost in like survival mode all day, meaning, I didn't shoot aggressively at all. Everything was God, I hope I hit the targets. I don't want to have a shitload of mics and no shoots, and I just want to survive the match. Versus the way I've shot in the past. So it showed. I finished 38th out of I don't even know how many people came to the match. So needless to say, I left pretty disappointed and was very curious and would like to get yours and Matt's input on like how or what is the best way to be able to perform under pressure or to control your nerves or to work within the confines of nerves. I'm sure everybody gets nerves and gets nervous and things like that and feels pressure. So how do you work within it?
Matt has left the group chat.
There he is.
Matt, where the fuck did you go?
Tim is fucking with me on Facebook and made fucking Google crash. So.
All right. Tim Myers, you mean? Yeah, Tim Myers. That's pretty normal shit. Anyway, so Tim would like your input on why he shot like a bitch, I think.
Yes. Yep.
Shit. I think you expected probably too much out of the match, and you let that drive your emotions and carry over into it. So, like, you were expecting an outcome and trying to perform to that, and not actually letting yourself just do what you do all the time. I think that's some of the problem with what you had. I don't know exactly that, but, and I can go into how I deal with some stuff like that if you want, or we could wait a second.
No, I do. Like I said, this is a topic for me that is,
so I kind of felt that
kind of
this year.
selfish in
At a
nature.
couple matches I went to, I kind of felt like, I was expected to win and everything, and I had that added pressure to me. How I dealt with it is I do a routine, so I know exactly. I have set steps I do no matter what or where it is. So I never put a partially loaded mag on my belt it's just a hard, fast rule I never do. And then I always clean my mags after every run, whatever. So I have all these steps lined out, and as long as I do all the steps, and that includes like cleaning your gun before it, cleaning your mags, doing the visualization and stuff, making sure you know where all the targets are and everything. And when I do those steps, I know everything's lined up right. I don't have to worry about the other stuff that's already going to happen. The performance is already going to be there.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Before I say anything else, would you say that, or now I don't want to lead you. How did you feel going into single stack nationals? Like, what exactly were you expecting? What were you trying to do? And how does that differ from other matches that you shoot, or does it differ?
That's a very good question. I don't know. I'd kind of made my goal out there for everybody kind of to know. I mean, my expectations of the match were to obviously to shoot the best I can, but I think I probably put too much, kind of like Matt said, I put too much pressure on myself in a results sort of way. I wanted to finish top 16, and I felt like that wasn't, or it's not out of my realm of performance. So, other matches, honestly, I don't think. Okay.
Good point you hit on. I actually want to comment real quick. So you said your goal was to be in the top 16.
Right.
Okay. So the way I combat that is I set little micro goals or less goals. Like, I'm going to shoot this match clean. I know I have to shoot this match clean. Then I'm going to shoot it aggressive. Like I say aggressive is. I don't know who came up with that or whatever, but I use it. So I don't actually say I'm going to win the match as a goal. I do like micro stuff where if I do those things, that will be the outcome of it, no matter what. So it's like if I can control, make sure I do the visualizations, because I've had a problem with that, getting really relaxed on that, not actually doing them before stages, and that's actually hurt my performance. So I do those, make sure that that is a goal. I'm going to do 10 visualizations every stage, no matter what, minimum. So if I do that, my performance is going to work itself out.
Okay.
Tim, is this the first time you? Well, you kind of alluded to it, but this is the first time you've kind of felt this way.
Yeah, this is the first time like that nerves overcame me to the point where like I lost sleep. Waking up Saturday morning to get ready for the match, and eating some breakfast. I mean, like I ate a couple of bites and was like immediately like sick to my stomach. Like honestly, God, this was the most nerve-wracked I have ever been in my entire life, and I can't explain why. I can't explain the reason other than I don't know. I felt this undue pressure. Like holy shit, I've got to perform, and I don't know why. I've never felt that way before. I mean, last year at Nationals, I finished I think 26th, and I had fun. And honestly, this match, literally right after my last stage, like a wave of relief felt over me, and then I was almost rejuvenated. Like I was ready. Shit, I was ready to shoot the entire match over again. You know what I mean? I think it's because the pressure was off, and it was like shit. I'm ready to frickin' murder these stages now, and it was over. I don't know. I've never felt that way before.
Well, I've kind of seen where a lot of guys kind of go shoot a big match really well, and that's when they're too stupid to know that it's supposed to be hard to do well at a big match, and then after that the pressure comes on at subsequent big matches and they end up doing a lot worse. Does that sound like you?
I think so, definitely.
Was there a lot of outside influence on the way that you thought you had to perform? Or was it all self-driven?
Honestly,
Team Sig.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay.
Okay,
I wasn't going to say that, but...
honestly, though,
they're going to kick him the fuck off the team.
No, completely no, not at all. No, I mean, in complete defense of the team and everything else, there was absolutely no amount of pressure that I ever felt from them whatsoever. So I know the pressure that I felt in order to perform was all based on me. I mean, it was all self-driven. So, and I don't know. I just, like I said, it felt bad. My very first stage, I mean, the 6th round out of the gun was a mic. And from that run on, from that stage...
Well, that was like a 50-yard target, right?
No, believe it or not, it was like a 15-yard target. I mean, it was a stupid mic, but it was one of those things, and I didn't call the shot bad, moved on to the next stage, and immediately then it was like, okay, I got to shoot the rest of this clean, which I think then drove my thoughts into just shoot clean, so everything became like overly deliberate, and I was afraid to just execute. So...
Okay, well, my take on this, and I think a lot of this, of course, it's personality driven, but in the last year, you've really kind of both, like, you've set goals for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I want to be really good at shooting, and you
Definitely.
put in a lot of time and practice. You've put yourself out there publicly as a guy who wants to get good at shooting, right?
Absolutely.
Which, of course, brings with it plenty of people to shit on you. But also, on the good side, there's plenty of people to hold you accountable in a nice way, too.
Oh,
right?
definitely.
They'll just be like, hey, they're pulling for you.
And I would say, honestly, 99% has been in that direction.
Let's say 80%.
Okay, yeah, okay, you're right.
But that's good. Like, if anybody who puts themselves out there on any level who's like, hey, I want to be good at this, of course, like, I mean, there will be people who are going to be negative about that, but that's how it is, right?
I'm learning that, definitely.
That's how it is, dude.
I think anybody at a higher level, like all of us are, there's expectations also that you're expected to perform and stuff and do good and win these matches or do what whoever's saying it is expecting you to do something. I know I've had that with some local guys where they question what happened after a match and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, why do I owe you a response? And I just blow them off. I don't even respond to those people. So
Yeah, that's a good policy, Matt. um, um, Tim, the interesting thing to me is what you're describing, like how you get kind of like amped up before a match and you like really want to do well. I shouldn't say you get amped up before a match. You get amped up before nationals. Like I experience that at every match I go to. What you're
Really?
talking about, yeah.
Wow.
Maybe not. I wouldn't say the knees knocking part, but as far as like staying up all night and that sort of a thing, every match.
Really?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
So I'm not completely abnormal then. Okay.
No, I would say I'm abnormal. And the abnormal thing about me is that I take a club match as seriously as I take nationals.
And that's where we totally differ. Because I look at club matches. I mean, not that I don't think that they're important, but I do place quite a bit of importance on them as far as for my own growth and my own, being able to execute. But I mean, yeah, I look at club matches as still a part of that, like hanging out with the local guys and having fun and laughing and cutting up. And I don't know, maybe I've made a national match into something probably bigger than it really needs to be.
So
I don't think that's the problem. I think you're not taking the club matches seriously enough.
Okay.
So, like guys who finish top 16 at nationals, they slay balls at their club matches. So you better not be losing your club matches. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I definitely see what you're
That's how I
saying.
look at it. Like guys, like if I want to do well nationally, I'm going to crush people's nuts at a club match. Right?
Okay.
I look at like whatever your goal, like look at the shooters that you want to be, like whoever, like at whatever level that is. It doesn't matter. I mean, if somebody's C class now and they're like, hey, I want to be A class, well, you look at A class guys and they're like, yeah, they don't shoot slow as shit, right?
Right.
Right. So I can't be that guy. It's kind of like if you want to be top 16, then you need to slay balls at your club match. Like you can't go and like tank 2 stages of club match all year long and then go and be top 16 at nationals. It doesn't work that way. Now, I don't know what your shooting is like at your club matches. I'm just...
No, and honestly, I that's the kind of the funny thing is because it's generally how it is. And I know Matt can kind of attest to that because we shoot together almost all club matches together.
Yeah.
So...
See, I have a kind of a different spin on that. So it's hard for me to get amped up for a local match and perform to the level that I shoot at a major just because it's a club match. But I still want to slay and what'd you say, like break balls or something?
Slay balls, crush
Slay
fucking
balls.
balls.
So I still want to do that. Like, that is still a huge driving factor for me at the local level. I want to win, even if it doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Well, no, Matt, I bet for you at a club match, it's not about winning.
It's about how much.
Well, I mean, like you're gonna win your club match, but it's a matter of like doing your best on every single stage, right?
Yeah, one of the things I've incorporated lately, since like last year, is consistency through the match. Like shooting all the stages at that ability. Like before, I used to be able to shoot one at my tip-top ability, whatever. Now I want to shoot all, however many it is, at that level, and continue that through from the start to the finish, no matter what. Not if I'm ROing or whatever in between. I need to get that consistency. That's what I've been working on a lot.
And that's what I still lack. I know that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just, for me, I think the more you kind of experience that pressure, the better it is for you. Right?
I would agree, definitely. I mean, because you can't just, I mean, it's not like that pressure goes away, so...
No, it's actually, as you're seeing, it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Right. So the thing is just not to learn how to reduce it, but how to work amidst it, you know?
You can work within it. How to work with it.
Right. How to work with it. So I guess that's kind of, like, so how do you do that? How do you train yourself? I know Ben, you've told me before, like you've got to learn how to bring that pressure, that same type of pressure, those same types of feelings to your practices, to local matches, things like that. Like, what kind of things do you do? You know, what kind of things do you recommend that I do? You know, obviously making local matches feel and be just as important as a major match is obviously a huge one. So, I mean,
well, do you genuinely challenge yourself in practice?
I'm honestly, I'd have to say I've become a little more complacent lately.
Right. So, have you been shooting the dots, where it's like 36 rounds on dots? You know what I'm talking about? I know.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've seen you posted on Facebook about that.
Yep.
Have you ever cleaned it?
I've cleaned the dots twice.
Okay. So, did you feel any sense of sort of pressure creeping in after you clean? Let's say you clean dot 4. You're clean up through 4, and then you go to 5, and you're like, shit, I might do it this time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So those are the sorts of challenges that are good.
Okay.
Seeking out that sort of challenge where you start to bring the pressure into your practice, that's what you need. That's a good thing. So, like stuff that I do is if I set up a scenario style drill where it's like a little piece of a stage, I'll shoot that 5, 6, 7 times in a row, and maybe the difficulty will be really high, but I'll shoot it a bunch without pasting. Just go through all the mags on my belt, and then walk up there and score it in aggregate. And my goal is it's not to like be awesome at it. It's to not fuck it up once.
Okay.
Like in any way, shape, or form. And then that brings the pressure into your practice, especially if it's a challenging sort of thing. Does that make some sense to you?
Oh, definitely, because it makes you accountable for not just, you know, creaming some one hero run on it, being like, yeah, I crushed it, but being able to do that repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly until it just becomes the norm.
And so you've cleaned it, right, twice?
Yeah.
So you know the pressure between the 4th and 5th one, right?
Oh, yes.
So you know how to work around that and, like, how to clean it for the other 2. Like, you know what you have to think about and stuff. You can take that and just remember that stuff that, like, you have to tell yourself to stay on the front side really hard or whatever. I don't know what you tell yourself, but you tell yourself something.
Right.
To get your mind back into and not think about, I'm going to clean this. So take that stuff and take that over into the match.
Okay.
Use that in the actual match.
Okay, yeah.
Tim, do you have any follow-up questions?
I don't know. It's, you know, this topic obviously was extremely, you know, it's close to me because this is something that's real, you know, for me right now as I'm kind of growing, you know, I mean, still kind of a newly minted GM, so, I mean, to think that, oh yeah, I've got this shit figured out is completely, you know, I don't know, maybe I was too stupid last season to realize maybe the position that I was actually at with my shooting versus this year. I don't know, I had like all winter to think about this and kind of ramp up my training and everything, and you know, then I'm realizing different results based on what I had my mindset to and the pressures that also come with it. You know, and I think a lot of that has to do with, like you said too, it's I'm putting myself out there. I mean, a lot more people know me.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, that's huge. I mean, to the point where, you know, I go to a match now and I mean, people I've never met before, like, oh man, I've seen you on the podcast or I've seen you on YouTube, and you know, and of course, I don't want to say that necessarily puts pressure on me, but I guess it does put pressure on you because you know, man, I don't want to look like a complete tool in front of this person. That, you know what I mean? So.
Done deal.
Yeah. So whereas last year, shit, I could go to a match and 95% of the people there still really didn't know who I was. So, I mean, to say that it was I don't want to say that it's not still fun to shoot, but it was a lot more fun last year to go to a major and not really feel that pressure. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to get to the point where, Hopkins, would you say that you go to major matches and it's like strictly less like fun for you?
Yeah, I have a blast in majors at this point.
That's good.
No, I seriously have fun. I wouldn't be going to them anymore if I didn't have fun at them.
Being more well, I can remember you being kind of depressed at a couple of them, but I think you've rewired your brain a little bit since then.
That was kind of a tough time for me.
Can I
It's like,
okay, but Matt, that brings up kind of a good, kind of a good little subject matter or question to ask too. I mean, obviously, you didn't just come right out of the gate as a grandmaster and then come and finish top 16, forever how many years that you've been shooting nationals. So, I mean, you've had a nationals where you finished really, really good, and then have you not had a nationals where you kind of finished maybe outside of where you wanted to, say, the next year? And then
I had 2 years like that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so what was different for you?
How did I deal with it? I was depressed, honestly. Like, I felt I should have done better. And then it was pointed out to me that I did exactly what I had prepared to do at it, right?
Was that me who did that?
Yeah, you did.
It sounds like I would have a tough.
It was like,
tough talk.
what the fuck did you expect for not doing anything? So that meant a lot to me. Like, you can only get out what you put in. So, like, not doing the actual work and dry fire and shit, what did you think would happen? So that drove home pretty good, clear for me. And then I'm having fun at it again. It's like, it used to be work, sort of, and now it's coming back to being fun. I do this for fun, first and foremost.
Okay. Man. So Tim, do I have to have a talk with you now where I'm like, you dumb motherfucker, you're boning 2 stages of club match, and what do you think's going to happen when you go to nationals?
No, I mean, I get it. I mean, I do totally get it. I mean, I can see definitely where, yeah, if I'm not consistent in a 5 to 7 stage club match, how the hell do I expect to be consistent over a 14 to 20 stage national match? So,
I mean, I think you're making sort of the mistake where it's like, hey, now it's nationals. Now I'm going to take this seriously. And
no,
it's kind of like
more than something else.
Well,
I mean,
more than a local.
It's
right.
tough. It's tough to not, yeah, I mean, I guess it matters more, but it's kind of like you got to take, all your other stuff seriously, and that's how you're going to, make yourself better and to like not be okay. Like, are you going to club matches and you soak up a mic and you're like, eh?
Yeah.
It's not a good reaction. Like a champion level shooter, I would expect them to be fucking bent when they fuck up a stage. Like, you don't have to be a dick about it, but like, you walk off in the corner and just don't talk to anybody for a couple minutes. Like, if I was watching you at a club match and I'm like, yeah, that dude cares that he fucked that stage up. Like, that'd be more what I would be looking to see.
Yeah.
Right? That's true, right, Hopkins?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, if I totally bone a stage, it doesn't matter where it is. It's like, I have to perform to this level, and it's like, I totally did not do that. And I'm like, I want to reshoot that fucking stage so bad because I know I fucked it up so hard. And I'm thinking, God damn, I can't do this anymore. So
let me ask you this, Tim. If you fuck up a stage at a club match, do people walk up to you and talk to you right afterward?
Oh, yeah.
That's okay?
I
Yeah,
don't
so like your body language is telling them.
I don't necessarily like them talking to me right after.
Your body language is saying it's okay to talk to me right now without getting your head twisted off.
You're exactly right.
And that's probably not where you want to be emotionally. Where it's
Definitely.
like it's got to sting a little bit when you fuck up. Otherwise,
Well, that's exactly right. When everybody's just like, oh man, that was a good run except for that mic.
Good run except for the mic. I want to say like, yeah, so go fuck yourself.
And that's exactly right. And that's the thing though. It's allowed me to just completely disregard that run and just like, yeah, right. That's a club match.
Like, this is not to be a dick, Tim, but people saying that to you are not helping you get where you want to go.
Right. No, I get that. I totally do.
They're being nice and they're being supportive in their own way, but like those sort of comments are not productive for you. Like, it would be way better for you, like if you're shooting a club match with Hopkins and you shoot a bad stage and he looks at you just like, whoa, you're a fucking idiot. Like, that's way more productive than somebody being like, oh, a fast time,
Right.
or whatever.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, Matt can attest to. I mean, I typically have definitely maybe too good or too fun of an attitude at a club match that I
No,
don't.
you could have a fun attitude.
Oh yeah, but I don't put enough discipline on myself for when I do fuck up something.
Right, and
So-
there's nobody at the club level. There aren't many people that can help you. You're really fortunate that you shoot at the same club as Hopkins,
Absolutely.
right? Like, there's not like that level of heat around the clubs that I shoot. Like, there's no one.
Right.
There's no one's going to push you. I mean, that's just human nature. They're not pushing you to that level.
Okay.
When someone does come up to me and does that at the stage, like if I do bone a stage kind of hard like that, I'll tell them, like, no, it wasn't. Like, I did this, and this, or whatever. Like, I'll make it very clear to them that that was not good, and that is not acceptable.
And
Some
that's
people don't know how to take that either.
that's definitely been a difference then in my attitude then compared to what it probably needs or should be, because I don't hold myself accountable near what I should in club matches, so that when I go to big matches, yeah, that accountability then becomes through the freaking roof. And just as we saw, I lost my mind, but I lost my mind in a bad way. I shot way too conservative, just trying to survive versus shooting to my potential and executing. And that was the thing. I would finish every stage and be like, Jesus Christ, I could have shot that 2 seconds faster. I mean, and knowing, just based on, I couldn't even get off my ass to move. I mean, it felt like I was just locked up.
Lots of slack-jawed dipshits could have shot that, 2 seconds faster, but that's not really what it's about. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Jesus. All right. Well, one other thing I think I'd like to add to this is you got to remember that feeling that you felt during nationals. I'm sure it's like seared into your brain, but make sure you remember it, and just think about that when you're out training.
Okay.
Think about that, and for me, like even watching like nationals footage or watching shooting footage, if I'm thinking about shooting, a lot of times it raises my heart rate a lot. Like just when I start thinking about like what I want to do at a match, like match pressure and stuff, it's like, boom, I get like jacked up immediately, and that's a good thing because that's where you want to train. So remember that feeling.
It ain't going away anytime soon. I know that.
I still remember 2013 was Area 3, I think.
What?
That shit fucking makes me mad. Even thinking about that right now fucking pisses me off.
You were in a bad mood that whole
was
match,
the turning
dog.
point right there. I think that match was the turning point.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
That's when you're like, man, I'm tired of sucking.
It's like either quit this sport or...
Turn things around.
Yeah, exactly.
Quit the sport or quit sucking.
Well, that's
Exactly.
for me. That's this match. I mean, like I said, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Let's just to the point. Literally, I still have yet to clean my freaking gun, or even pull the shit out of the bag.
Yeah, have you shot it
fixed
since
it.
then?
No, I haven't. I picked it up to dry fire it for the first time Sunday night. A week later. Honestly, I was so bummed and depressed at first. I was just like, dude, maybe I just need to take a week off. Like I don't know. It disgusted me. Honestly, I was so disgusted with myself to just let it have taken that road. So now, honestly, I'm chomping at the bit. I'm hungry now, so I'm ready to get back to it and hit it harder than ever. So.
All right. Well, Jesus. So what should I title this podcast? Tim Herron speaks his feelings, bro. Like, what? I don't know.
Tim Herron questions how to stop the suck. How about that?
Yeah, don't be okay with sucking.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You need to be less tolerant of that. And there'll be guys, like hopefully somebody, a podcast listener, will come up to you at your club match and be like, Ben thinks I'm not helpful because I tell you that you're good. And that dude, like, normally I'd be like, hey, dude, don't misconstrue it. Like, you're a nice guy. No, fuck that guy, Tim. You see some guy being, like, supportive when you fuck up at a match, like, just turn around and run the other direction.
Got it.
You don't want that shit in your brain. Like, you need to talk to Hopkins, and Hopkins would be like, dude, that was terrible. Like, that was not okay. That was not a top 16 thing to do, friend.
You want me to talk about that kind of stuff? I can. Dude.
Damn right. Hold me
I
accountable,
don't want to be
buddy.
the fucking bad guy all the time. Be like, yeah, that fucking was horrible.
No, hold me
I was the
accountable.
bad. I'm your bad guy, right, Hopkins?
I needed it though, dude. So I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Well, Matt, okay, I'm telling you right now, I need it then. I mean, you needed it, right?
All right, yeah.
Okay, so I need it.
That's not what everybody needs. Like, some guys need to get talked off the ledge a little bit, but I think you need a kick in the ass.
I think I need a kick in the ass. Well, okay, talking off the ledge would have been last Monday. But a kick in the ass now is exactly what I need. So.
Well, that's good.
All right.
All right, well, this was a highly successful podcast, of course. Hopkins, thank you for joining us. If you want to schedule a class with Hopkins, go to hopkinsshooting.com. If you want to schedule a class with Tim Herron, go to hopkinsshooting.com.
Damn right.
And if you want to schedule a class with me, you can go to my website, or you can go to hopkinsshooting.com and tell Matt to bring me down. I don't know. Like, either way, it's all good. And if you have a shooting question you'd like to send to me, head over to bensteiger.com. Send me your email.